Hello and welcome to the Power BI July 2022 update. In this video, we'll explore what's new this month and see some demos of the highlights. We have some exciting updates for you in the reporting section. First, the error bars feature is now generally available. We've added a variety of capabilities this month to round out the feature, including an option to enable data labels for your error bars, some new ways to create error bars without requiring data fields, and a new Make Symmetrical option to make it easy to create error bars from just one field. Rien will take us through a demo of this feature and this month's changes.
This month, we've made the error bars feature generally available. On top of that, we've also added a bunch of new capabilities this month, just to finish it up, complete the feature. But before we get into those, I just want to summarize for anyone who, hasn't quite gotten the opportunity yet to experience error bars, exactly what the fuss is about. So here I've got a chart. It shows my average of sales amount by month for the past few years. And so, each of these different points at each month aggregates the sales across a few of these, aggregates a few sales points and averages those. And suppose I want to look at the confidence interval of that range of sales. So I want to see the upper and lower bounds of my confidence intervals for the scales. And I have those as measures. I have a sales lower and a sales upper over here. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go into the analytics pane, not the formatting pane, the analytics pane, go look for the error bars card and open it up. And here I'll be able to put in those upper and lower bounds. So I'm going to put sales upper into the upper bound and sales lower into the lower bound. Because I'm looking at an average here, I'll also need to change the aggregation of my measures to average so that I can actually average the upper and lower bounds and then hit the enable button. And now you can see that we've turned on error bars. By default, instead of error band, what you'll get is a bunch of little error bars, and this is what you can see for column charts as well. But of course, if you wanted to turn on error bands for line charts, you can. You'll be able to do that for the line portions of combo charts as well. And if you want to change the fill settings from fill, fill line, fill and line, you can do that. So there are a variety of formatting options, and we support a variety of visual types, from the bar charts to the combo charts to the column chart to the line and area charts. So I don't think we support the area charts. So we can do a variety of options with error bars. Now this month, we haven't added support for any new visuals, but what we've done is we've added a bunch of new quality of life features. So the first thing you'll notice, and I think the thing that a lot of you have been asking for the most, is new options to add data labels for your error bars. So now, just like you can do with data labels on your normal values, you can get those actual absolute values of the upper and lower bounds directly on your visual like this. And you get the same formatting options as with your normal data labels. So I want to match series color, I got that. I want to give it a little background plate for contrast against all these different data label, the line colors and the error area colors, I got that too. So I can do a variety of things, format them the way I want, just as with regular data labels. And now, instead of having to hover over every single point just to see the exact value of any of these points, I can turn on error labels and the user has the ability to see that. But on top of that, we've also added a few new type options for your error bars. So now, instead of being able to create error bars based on the upper and lower bounds, like here, that you have as fields, you can also base them on percentage, on percentile, and standard deviation options as well. So let's start with the most basic one, which is percentage. If I want to do percentage, then it'll give me the upper and lower bounds as calculated from the displayed value of my value field. So for example, upper bound of 10%, lower bound of 10%, if I see that my displayed value here is 1084, then the lower bound will be 10% lower than that, and the upper bound will be 10% higher. It's a pretty straightforward calculation that gets done on whatever the aggregated displayed value of the data point at that month is for me, and mirrors a lot of the functionality that you'll see in like Excel. On top of that though, because our unique the unique aspect to Power BI is that we are on aggregated data, so each data point is actually an aggregation. We can instead view these as upper and lower bounds. So let's say that I want to look at the 85th percentile and 20th percentile of my data at this point, right? So now what I'll be getting is that the lower bound is the value higher than 20% of the values being aggregated at this month. The upper bound is the value 85% higher than 85% of all of the values being aggregated at this month. Instead of you having to go through that aggregation and do that percentile yourself, we do that for you because we can aggregate. We already know that this data at each point is aggregated. And it's not just percentile, right? We can do the same thing with standard deviations. You want to see one standard deviation? We got you. You want to see multiple? All good. So those will show you the bounds, again, calculated from the aggregated data points and each x-axis value on your chart. The last thing that we've added is a new make symmetrical option for your by field. So I go back to by field, I'll turn on make symmetrical, and as you can see, I've only got one field left. And this is just in case I have something that I know is a symmetrical upper and lower bound. And if that's the case, then I can just tack this on, and it'll give you that upper and lower bound done up and down in the same way. I'll need to change this to average, and then you get a little bit better of a description. So these are the different things that we've added to error bars. Hopefully these three options make creating error bars more convenient, make reading visuals with error bars more convenient, like with the data labels, and overall really improves the experience and rounds it out and makes it feel like a solid addition to Power BI and to all of the different Cartesian charts that now support error bars. Hopefully this enables you for all of your visualization needs, and we love to hear more. Thank you so much.
Next, we're thrilled to announce that we've added filled map layers to the Azure Maps visual. Filled maps use coloured-in shapes to differentiate data, helping to present variations or patterns across different geographical regions. Rien will show us a demo of this powerful new feature.
Hello! Today I'll be showing you an awesome new addition to the Azure Maps visual, which is the filled map layer. The filled map layer uses a colored-in shape to differentiate data, which lets you present variations or patterns across a variety of different geographical regions all by itself. Right now, what you get when you first drag a field into your location field, like let's say state, is you'll get a bunch of different bubbles here. And if I wanted to look at how sales varies across each region, it's just going to give me these different sized bubbles. And in some places that's okay, but when we have this many different regions that we need to compare across, the bubble sizes get a little bit more difficult to evaluate. Instead, what we can do is use the new filled map feature. So going in here, what I'll do is I'll turn off the bubble layer and instead turn on the filled map layer instead. And what it does is it'll draw different shapes across the regions that I've set when I drag these different regions into my location field well. And then it'll color them in. So right now they're all blue. But what I can do is I can change those colors by going into the conditional formatting dialog under the colors subcard in the formatting pane. And suppose instead of, like we were saying, instead of looking at sales as a bubble, I want to see sales by color, right, as a color gradient. So instead I'm going to go here, base this field on, I guess, the sum of all sales across the region, and then these different colors seem pretty good. So then I'll go ahead and click apply. And all of a sudden, now I can tell very easily my lowest to highest sales across the different regions on my map. So that's the first way you can color shapes. The other way you can color shapes is if you didn't have this on, you could go in here and you could say, what category do I want to color my fields in by in the legend field well? So this is especially useful when you only have categorical data that varies by region. So I don't have that. Let me show you what happens when I put a category field into it though. Let me just go ahead and drag this category ID into the legend field well. And as you can see, it splits these across the different categories that that each region is divided into. So because all of these states have a category of 1, except for 2 of them, or except for 3 of them, they're mostly blue. But if, let's say that you wanted to categorize each state along blue, red, or battleground state for American political elections, then you could do that easily by dragging in a category, a category column into the legend field well and coloring your fields in that way. So there are a couple different ways that you can color. I think that the best for numerical data is to use the conditional formatting option over here. But if you have specifically categorical data that varies by region, and so it's a column that gives you, for each country, it gives, for each region ID, you get a specific category, then you can use the categorical field as well. And these are a really effective visualization for both areas, and we really hope that you find it valuable.
Next, we're adding support for Power BI datasets that have dynamic mQuery parameters defined. With this release, you can now create a composite model on such datasets to enrich or extend them. With dynamic mQuery parameters, you can let report viewers use filters or slicers to set values for an mQuery parameter. Next, since introducing the bold, italic, and underline formatting options for text, we've been making sure these options are truly supported everywhere. And this month, we've added these formatting options to the header tooltip text as well. Say that 3 times fast. Please continue to let us know where you'd like us to add these options. We've also made a variety of changes to Power BI metrics. First, we're expanding the scorecard visual we shipped last year to include metric visuals. This adds a high level of flexibility in integrating metrics into your Power BI reports. You can now include individual metrics instead of the entire scorecard and create report pages showing metrics alongside other visuals in the context of report data. Create the metric or add the metric from an existing scorecard as a visual in the report and interact with it just like a regular scorecard by viewing notes, performing check-ins, and setting up rules. You can also format the metric with a variety of options. We've introduced the Move and Copy scorecard features to help make authoring scorecards more convenient. You can move an entire scorecard with all of the scorecard features and metadata to new workplaces using the Move To option in the File menu. You can do the same with copying scorecards and even include or exclude check-in history. Further, we've added the Follow functionality to quickly access metrics you're interested in and stay up to date on the activity of those metrics. You can follow metrics as you're browsing through different scorecards and later access all of your followed metrics in one place. You can view all of the metrics you're following in the Metrics Hub under the Following section, and you'll get Teams notifications right in the activity feed whenever a metric definition is updated, a check-in is added, or when an updated status rule changes the status of the metric. Lastly, you can now share direct links to a metric by sharing it while selecting it on a scorecard, or copying the URL in the address bar. Next, in the Modeling section, we've added a new DAX function this month, NETWORKDAYS. The NETWORKDAYS function returns the number of whole working days between 2 days. Note that you can use any way of expressing a date in Power BI to specify the start and end dates. Working days exclude weekends, which can be customized using the optional Weekends parameter. By default, this function will use Saturday and Sunday as weekend days, and any dates provided in an optional Holidays parameter will also be excluded when calculating workdays. We've also made a major improvement to composite models this month by enabling support for multi-row RLS. Model owners can now assign a single user to more than one RLS role in a composite model. Prior to this release, users who set up RLS in their composite models this way would likely hit a query failure. Additionally, we've improved query performance to propagate RLS filters defined on import dimension tables to direct query tables using mashup connectors. Mashup connectors include Snowflake, Redshift, Databricks, and others. Previously, when model authors defined RLS filters on an import dimension table, and the dimension table filtered a direct query fact table using a mashup connector, the fact table SQL query didn't include a filter on the foreign key column restricted by the RLS filter when users added a column from the dimension table and a measure from the fact table to a report. This produced a large intermediate result set that could exceed the million-row threshold. This month's improvement ensures that RLS filters are propagated from the dimension table to the fact table in the basic visual query, which means that users will no longer experience the error or suffer from slow query performance. Next, we have a variety of updates for you in the data connectivity and preparation section. First, you'll notice this month that you can now easily discover the entry point to connect to Datamarts from the Get Data experience within the Power BI desktop, or search for Datamarts in the search box. We've also given you two options to connect when clicking on a Datamart: connecting to the Datamarts auto-generated dataset using Live Connect so that you can easily create reports, and connecting to the SQL endpoint using direct query or import mode and building datasets or reports. Priyanka will show us a demo of this feature.
We are super excited to announce the update on connecting to Datamart through Power BI Desktop. When you create a Datamart or one of your team members shares a Datamart with you, you can now easily discover the entry point to connect to Datamart from the Power Platform section under the Get Data experience. You can also search for Datamarts within the Get Data experience. Once you click on Connect, you will be able to see all Datamarts that you have access to within the Data Hub experience. With this new update, we are excited to share that clicking on Datamart provides you with two options. First, Connect. This connects to the Datamarts Underline auto-generated dataset using the Live Connect so that you can easily create reports. Second, connect to SQL endpoint. This connects to the Datamarts SQL endpoint using import or direct query mode. This provides an easy discovery experience and reduces the friction associated with finding and copy-pasting the Datamarts SQL connection string from Datamarts settings or info page. It provides the familiar Power Query Navigator experience to select tables or views and load or transform the data. You can choose to import or direct query the data from Datamart and build dataset and reports. Hope this gives you a good starting point to begin exploring these new features. Feel free to provide your feedback through ideas.powerbi.com and learn more about Datamarts by visiting our documentation.
We're also excited to announce that Power BI now supports display names from Dataverse. Now, when creating reports using the Dataverse connector in either import or direct query mode, you'll see the display names automatically applied to all columns in the model. This should save Dataverse users a lot of time, as you won't need to manually name every column to match the names end users are accustomed to seeing in their applications like Dynamics. For reports saved in the Power BI service, to make sure things don't change without warning for report customers, display names will not automatically appear. For all existing reports, you'll need to open the report up in Power BI Desktop and refresh the model to have them show up. On the very first schema refresh, the display names will override any existing renames you've made in the report, but future schema refreshes should not require any rework. Please note that display names are applied at the model level, which means you will continue to see the original system names in the query editor. This also means that if you rename fields within display names in the query editor, the change will not be visible in the model. If you would like to rename fields with display names, you'll need to make the change in the model. Other query editor changes will still work as they have before. And lastly, if display names change in Dataverse in the future, all of your reports will continue to work. Each time display names change, you'll just need to do a schema refresh in the Power BI desktop and republish. We also have several new and updated connectors for you this month. We've updated the BitSight Security Ratings connector, the Databricks connector, and the Funnel connector. And we're happy to introduce the Eduframe reporting connector. Eduframe provides a fully flexible e-commerce storefront, course and student management, and resource management for continuing education providers. In the Service section, we've added data preview and export to the Data Hub. The Dataset Details page helps you to explore, monitor, and leverage datasets to gain insights. When you click on a dataset in the Data Hub or in a workspace, the Details page for that dataset opens. With this release, you can see data preview and export data from a dataset in just a couple of clicks. To preview data from a dataset, you can select a table or columns from the Tables view on the right side pane. Please note that previews may not show all of the data you've selected, but you can see more by exporting or customizing the table. We have some exciting new features for you in the mobile section. First, we're introducing Data in Space, a new feature which uses augmented reality technology and the Power BI mobile app to create persistent spatial anchors in the real world and attach Power BI content to those anchors, allowing you to contextually integrate Power BI data with the physical world. Maya will show us a demo of this feature.
I will use building management scenario to introduce the new Data in Space capability. Imagine I'm a building manager, and I'd like to enable building operators to make quicker, more informed decisions driven by real business data. To do so, I can now go to the place where the report with the building operator status is needed, open the report, and select Data in Space from the Report Headers option menu. When the report preview appears, I can open the camera and see the view in the real world. I can then choose exactly where I want to put it and scale it as desired. When I'm satisfied with the view's placement, I can pin it in the real-world location for others to find it later on. When the building operators come to do their routine status check, they can now base their inspection on real stats. Opening the camera from the mobile app's homepage, they can scan the space around them for any reports that have been pinned in that area. The report locator at the bottom of the screen indicates when reports are found, helping them to direct the camera in the right direction to access the report they need. Tapping the report view found in the space takes them to the report and enables them to make the right decision in the right place. With Data in Space, you can now connect your digital business data to your real-world places and put real data in the fingertips of employees when they need it, enabling them to make better, faster, and more informed decisions.
You can also now track metrics with multiple milestones and targets from your mobile app. Open the Metrics Details pane to see the milestones, as well as the final target visualized alongside your current progress. Now it's easier than ever to get a snapshot of how you're performing against your metrics. In the Windows app, you can enhance your experience and productivity by exploring content from your organization that's been selected especially for you. It's there for you on the home page in the new Recommended strip. Next, we're happy to introduce some new enhancements in the Embedded Analytics section. First, we've added accessibility enhancements to embedded reports. When embedding Power BI to your applications, it's important to consider the different types of users who'll be interacting with your reports and allow users who may have visual or physical impairments to benefit from your reports. And we've made that easy by providing different APIs that can help you make your content more accessible. You can adjust zoom levels and add title attributes to the embedded component with just a few lines of code. You can also enable keyboard shortcuts and high contrast modes for embedded reports. Please visit our Embedded Analytics Playground to get hands-on experience of these and many more capabilities for your reports. Noam will show us a demo of these enhancements.
In this demo, I will show you how you can improve the accessibility of your embedded reports. I will start by loading one of my reports in the Developer Sandbox in the Power BI Playground. The Developer Sandbox allows you to view your embedded reports and interact with them programmatically without having to set up an environment of your own. You can choose between using a sample report or embedding your own report. I will go ahead and select my own report and click Embed to view the embedded report. In the Embedded Report APIs pane, under the Accessibility category, I can see the relevant APIs for my report's accessibility. Let's start by setting a different zoom level for the report. I can drag and drop this code snippet into the code editor and change the parameters. I will set the zoom level to 200% by writing new zoom equals 2. Any value between 0.25 and 4 is accepted here, representing zoom levels of 25 to 400%. Once I click Run, you can see that my report is updated to 200% zoom. Another thing I can do here is change the contrast mode of my report in order to improve the report's legibility. Under the embedded configurations, I can add a new line representing the contrast mode. I can choose between 4 different available contrast modes. Here I will show you how one of them looks when applied to my report. Once I click Run, you can see that my report is still at 200% zoom and also has a different contrast mode set. Another thing I can do is set a title attribute to my embedded report. This will set the title attribute to the iframe in which the report is embedded. This is beneficial for users who are using screen readers in order to navigate your application. Once again, I can drag and drop the API into the code editor and click Run to apply the code. Now, when I open the console log, I can see that the title attribute for the iframe was set to Embedded Report.
We've also added the ability to copy a visual as an image in embedded scenarios for your organization. When viewing a Power BI report embedded into your organization's portal, you might want to copy a visual to share elsewhere. This ability to copy and paste as an image, which is available in the service already, is now available for embedded reports when embedding for your organization. Please keep in mind that this is not yet available for embedding for your customers. In the Developers section, the new Drill API is available with the 4.7 API release. It will enable the visual to show the next level, expand to the next level, or drill up based on the parameters passed to the API. Next, we have some exciting new updates for you in the Visualization section. First, we've made it easier and quicker for you to find the visuals you're looking for by updating the Power BI Visuals AppSource categories. The revised category list has many more and easier to understand options to help you find a suitable visual quickly and easily. Hovering over the info icon will also provide you with a brief description of the category. New this month is the Multi-Target KPI visual by Alexei Kolokolov. Updated visuals this month are the Drill Down Timeline Pro by Zoom Charts and the Smart KPI list by Nova Silva. And as always, whether you're new to Power BI, a Power BI developer or business user, We invite you to join us by registering at community.powerbi.com, where you can connect with our vibrant Power BI community members, MVPs, and super users. Go ahead, ask your question of the forums or answer a question to help another community member. And who knows, you could achieve a super user badge. We're definitely better together. There's something for everyone in the Power BI community. And that's all for this month. As always, we hope you enjoyed the updates, and please keep sending us feedback on what you'd like to see in upcoming releases. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll meet you in the community.